What's up, you guys? It is a Thursday. C'est jeudi à soir. I hope you're doing well. We're here for our weekly romance oracle reading using the Romance Angels Oracle deck by Doreen Virtue. This is an out-of-print deck, so it's a rare one, so I always like to use this one so we can all share it together. Hope everybody's doing well. We're just here to touch base and see what we need to know for our highest good for the week ahead as it pertains to our love lives. What do we need to do for ourselves to lean into more of our potential, to overcome our pitfalls and shortcomings, and really so we can start solidifying this new self as we go into our new timeline, new cycles? It's like, how can we overcome these past patterns and actually start new cycles with love and new healthy patterns and have different experiences with relationships that we've never had before? Getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your love bond deepens. So yeah, when I get this card, it reminds me of the value of going slow and getting to know people and, taking your time. And also, like, in this world, our whole culture, all the dating advice is basically rooted in the foundation of a power struggle. It is hold power over the other at all costs, and never bend, and never let them see you sweat, never let them see you like them, never let them see your vulnerability. And I find that exhausting. I understand that does get a reaction out of people. In fact, several years ago, I, took some of the higher browed advice that was even considered more high value and less manipulative and applied those tactics. And boy, did they work so fast. It was like almost as if A equals B, cool, B plus A equals C. And it was just like, wow, this is so effective. And I got a commitment very quickly. And I just thought, oh, I'm doing this right. Everything's healthy. Everything's going forward. And it actually moved forward a little too smoothly and a little too quickly. And there was a lot of toxicity and things that didn't come out until later. And I think that had I taken things slower, had I just been more natural and not tried to do tactics that would get a response, I would have been able to see the person more clearly and some of their behavioral tendencies that would have worn thin over time. I think that those would have been more apparent had we gone slow and not been so caught up in these tactics, these attraction building games and schemes. And, sometimes this is just part of having like a nice titillating, courtship, but you also have to be aware and kind of balance that without because again, it's like if you are doing these actions, looking for a response, putting it out as bait, or trying to gain control over someone, it's like you're just manipulating them into a trauma response. And it's like you're just perpetuating patterns and cycles. It's like you're not having real authentic connection. So yeah, I challenge you to, push back up against this societal, obsession with, it's all this ego battle, right? And it's like some of the concepts aren't wrong. It's just that we've gotten so vapid and entitled and so fast at just being like, well, you have to do this and this is my worth. And then, the other side is over there going, well, they're this and I'm going to do that. And, and it's like, it's putting everybody in a stalemate, honestly. And you're either getting manipulated responses or you're getting stalemates with no responses. or people are ghosting, or they're not, like, it's like these like vapid like texting back and forth and it never goes anywhere. It's like, it just feels like everyone's just spinning their wheels. But just think right now, you're alone in your living room watching me on your TV or your phone. Imagine, what would it be like if you met a person like tomorrow and you weren't struggling to control them, you weren't trying to get them to like you, you weren't even sure if you were gonna like them even, you were just like, oh, I can be curious about this and get to know this person, and then be genuine or real, or not constantly on guard trying to avoid certain things and not talk about things and behave this way and not that way. Like, yes, there are certain behaviors and like dating and like relationship advice things. Like, there are relationship skills, there are communicating skills, there are attraction building skills. But if you weigh those out and you kind of, challenge them, it's like, okay, choose what, or try to leave out things that are driven by agenda or manipulation. If you're really honest about it, it doesn't leave a lot of those little tricks anymore. It's like you're just you and they're just them. And so, I think that when you show up like real, you start getting a different response from the other, right? And this isn't to say that you don't have boundaries or stand in your worth or like, be a person of high value. But again, maybe just relax and be yourself. That's the worst advice. Like, what does that even mean? Be yourself, be natural, take your time, get to know people, right? Because they're auditioning for you too, right? So it's not just about, because I think too, we get in this goal setting, like where it's like, well, this is my goal and this is what I want. And I want a relationship. And so it's like every single person that you start dating at that point, it's like you've got this goal and like you want to, you want to meet this goal, and it becomes less about even the person. It's like you're objectifying them at that point for your own use. Like, what about them? What about their soul? Like, so I don't know. I would like to challenge the modern status quo out there in the dating scene. See how it goes. Just be real. You know what my favorite thing? Okay, guys, I'm gonna stop going on and on about this, but the one last thing. One of my favorite things, like my junk food thing to watch, are old clips of Love Connection on YouTube. This is a dating show from the 80s and 90s where people would go on the show, a bachelor or a bachelorette, and they'd literally be given on a video screen like 3 people to choose from. And they, like, the host guy would like give a couple of like basic details about each person, and you'd really have to kind of go on the vibe. And so the studio audience, they'd be like, who do you think Mike should pick for his date? And everybody's like, 3, and everybody's like, no, 2, 1, 3. And so then they would vote. And so if the person wanted to date the person that the audience picked, it was like a free date or whatever. And I think that if they didn't go with the audience pick, they had to pay for it or something. I don't know. But they'd pick their date, they'd go on the date, and then they'd come back for a follow-up where the 2 people tell every single detail about the date. And this is where it gets so interesting. This is pre 9/11, before we were globally traumatized and started shutting down and putting up serious defense mechanisms. But these people were so much less complex. They would be like, so if like the date was really good and they were both really attracted, they would both be like talking about it. Like it was like they weren't, trying to hide it. They weren't trying to play any games. They were just like, oh yeah, they showed up and they looked hot and they looked, blah, 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 and I was into their legs and I was into their shoulders. And then, they were super funny. We went on this then, they played all this stuff, and they would just gush about the person. And then the other person would gush about them. And there was like no ego or less. And I don't know, it just seemed like they were so like not, I don't know, avoidant and anxious, and they were so much less damaged, I guess. And then there were some times where people would have like bad dates, and they would really be honest about like what made the date bad. And it was really kind of classic like feminine and masculine roles that were played out. That was like that would equal a really great date if the woman was a good receiver and she was gung-ho and like could kind of like go with a plan and be pleasable and, you know, have a good time. The date went well. If the guy was like on it and he made the plans and he like, you know, took decisive action and did those things, it was like it always set it up for like a better like scenario. The dates that go bad, it's like when people aren't in their healthy masculine energy and not in their healthy feminine. And so the dates that went bad were the ones that the woman was like, she couldn't just like look out the window and have a good time and like just relax and receive. She was like over controlling, asking about all the day, like, why didn't you do this? Why don't you know where you're going? Why don't you have the better directions? You were 5 minutes late, like blah, blah, blah. You don't respect my time. The restaurant didn't have anybody there. Like they were like really complaining. Nothing was good enough. And like, they were really critical of the man. And, or like, it was rarely the fact that like every now and then there was a really insecure guy that would, you know, say something like, you know, to down the woman and like, but it was rare. It was usually just that like somebody was just off in the energy and they couldn't get a good like dynamic going. But yeah, so that to me there's been so many relationship insights about just female male interaction, or even in probably same-sex couples. I'm not gay. I don't have a same-sex couple relationship. I'm not bisexual, so I haven't ever had this experience. But I have a million gay people in my life. And I feel like there's usually one of the two of them have a more masculine, dominant, take action sharer, the one that's like makes the effort and, you know, takes the action more. And then there's usually one partner that's more of the feminine or a little bit more passive or a little bit more of the receiver. And so it's not really gender as much as it is about like, think about an electrical current or even just like an outlet to be able to plug something in. It's like two of the same energy like that. It just butts up against heads, right? So yeah, interesting homework for you guys. Check out a couple of the episodes of Love Connections. Very interesting to me. Very interesting too to think about the time period and what it was, the major things that changed society that created these defense mechanisms and it created this like this thick ego layer in between people, and you know, just this kind of like dating culture now. Just doesn't seem as much like that back then. Okay, what else do we need to know about getting to know each other? What else do we need to know for this week? And I mean, these are generally weekly readings, but they do kind of build just over time. You deserve love, so you are lovable. I sometimes interpret this as if you're wondering if, like, sometimes things happen and you're left with like foggy, like, what was that really about? Like, people don't always give you a full, honest explanation or closure. And sometimes you wonder, like, did that person care about me? Like, was I completely delusional? And so sometimes this card tells me or like suggests, I feel like, that you're not crazy. Like, there were legitimate whatever, like you are lovable. Like, it wasn't that, you know, you weren't. This is also just a card to remind you and to comfort you and say, like, you are lovable, like you're worthy of the relationship that you deserve. And so you can take your time getting to know people and not feel, so I think so many times, you know, when people are insecure, they have low self-worth, it's like they want to be validated, they want someone to like them, they want someone to care. And so they're afraid to set boundaries and make demands, or not make demands, but like, you know, like express your needs, you know, to have expectations for what they want for themselves. Now, it's good not to project your expectations at people. But when you have expectations for yourself and for the vision of the kind of relationship you want, then you're projecting your expectations on the relationship itself. Now, the suitor then is like, okay, this is what I'm expecting. You're in or you're out. Like shape up or ship out kind of thing. But you don't have to be this. I'm not going to expect you to be my source if you don't want to be this. But if you want to be in this with me, like this, these are my requirements kind of thing. So you deserve love. Show yourself love. Show yourself nurturing. And just know that you're worthy of that. And the more work you do on yourself and your own self-discovery and your own personal development and just getting to know yourself better, it's like you're showing yourself that you're worth the investment. You're worth getting to know. And so even these two together, it's like spend time getting to know yourself. What makes you tick? What are the patterns that keep you going in the cycles that you've been in the past? The more you're aware of them, the less power they have over you. So, because, you can start to see when the trigger comes up, you can feel your default setting. And it's like, if you know that's a pattern, you're like, oh, I can see myself doing this. And it's a pattern. And I'm not really doing it because this is my conscious choice. I'm doing it because this is my default setting. And so when you see it happening and you're like, I don't really even feel the value of this behavior, it's like it's not even fulfilling. You're like, oh, I don't need to do that anymore. So there you are. Okay. What more do we need to know about this? And then if you feel like you're valuable and worth getting to know and you've invested in yourself, then that's your subconscious putting out that signal to the universe. Worthy, valuable, deserving, worth the investment. And so then you'll be attracting in something that has affinity of form. But if you don't think you're deserving of love and you don't know yourself, then you will be attracting in that affinity of form as well. And it will be, someone else who doesn't know themselves and doesn't feel worthy of love. And so then that creates toxicity and codependency. Okay, so very soon, clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. So this kind of reminds me of the Two of Swords energy, where there's equal energies that cancel each other out that are causing a stalemate. It could be indecisiveness. I don't know how I feel about this, or I know how I feel about it, but I'm not sure if it's right, or, and it's like you're kind of going back and forth. Sometimes there's interconflicting desires that you're unaware of. So say for in the category of a relationship, okay, well, let's compare it to a job. Sometimes say a person is like an entrepreneur and they're starting a business. Their business is doing okay, but it could go even better, but they're kind of holding themselves back up subconsciously because it's like they're telling themselves like, I want this this 7-figure company. I want an 8-figure company, but they know, or that they fear that if they have a company that big, that it will take all their free time. And oh my gosh, what if they failed? All these people, their whole team will be depending on them. And oh my gosh, I want to do this, but it's going to take all my attention and all my energy. I'm not going to have anything left to enjoy my life. Maybe this is too big. This is too much. And it's like part of you wants this thing to go huge and big and be successful. But the other part of you is terrified of the success because you think that it's in a direct conflict to something else that you truly desire. So an inner conflict in a relationship situation could be, I want a deeply intimate, committed relationship. But there could be a fear of being abandoned or betrayed, or there could be fears of commitment, right? Maybe, you feel claustrophobic. It's like you want that, but you also it frightens you, right? Maybe you have like unconscious beliefs about what relationships ultimately are going to end up being. And so you just want to preemptively avoid the failure from the beginning, right? It's like if you don't believe that it could ever be good or work out or be something that is like if you think it's doomed from the start, then you won't cherish the thing, right? And so if you don't believe that something is going to be fruitful or succeed or be fulfilling, then it's like you're gonna sabotage it, right? Or you're gonna let it be set, so it's like inner conflicting desires. You have to clearly decide what you want and like commit and be and be gung-ho. And the desire there, it's like the desire is really what draws it in. Part of the energy of repentance for the week, you should go follow my TikTok. Every day I've been uploading a video about the daily energy during the like bookended Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. During these 10 days, it's like each level of the soul is being like the wiring, right, is being laid out in our soul for that dimension of consciousness, that piece of soul. One category per day. And so we're going to be blessed and challenged in those categories. And how well we end up reconciling those energies on that day is going to basically set up our infrastructure for like every Wednesday that year, every Thursday that year. So today was all about persistence, determination, endurance. And it requires us overcoming that feeling of like, oh, I want to give up. So yeah, it's also ruled by Venus. So clearly with all your heart, when you decide like that something or feel something, it's like you've got to really clearly decide. And this goes for any manifestation. It's like you can't be split, you can't be fragmented, you have to be sure. And so then you can align with that thing and have affinity of form. And then, you're not sending out like conflicting signals into the universe, and that thing can come in and meet you. All right, one last card for this week. Love yourself first. So the theme here to me is slow down. Nothing's happening anytime quickly, or it could be suddenly out of the blue. But for now, at least for this week, just focus on loving yourself, appreciating you, do some healing work, read a book, like take good care of yourself, make a good meal, like get good sleep. Love yourself first, invest in you, do the work on the self, because if you don't, it doesn't matter if you get a relationship as fast as you want one. It'll fuck up. It'll be unhealthy. Like if you're not doing the work to prepare yourself for it, then you're also going to call in a better option if you're in a better vibration. So it's like what you're attracting in reflects whatever, like wherever you're at in your consciousness at that moment is what you're calling in. So, what you are calling in and deciding to join with and date and, merge or get to know one another, whatever, it's like that has affinity of form with you. And if there's negativity there, then there's something in you that is like, it may not be that exact energy, but it's mirroring energy that needs to be balanced and worked out, right? So yeah, just pay attention to that. And so the more you can kind of like reconcile those things on your own and heal those things before you start, getting out there and dating, then it's like you've changed your radio dial and the frequency to that much better. And so you'll have affinity of form with something that's going to be in a higher level of consciousness, in a more healed state, just like you are. So I know that it's not always like what you want to like love yourself first. You're like, fuck this, I can't take another bath. Tired of loving myself first. Somebody else to love me. No, each other. You deserve love. Very soon. Love yourself first. All the time. Whatever happened to the soulmate card? Remember that? It was like every second in your face. Like soulmate, soulmate, soulmate. Like, where did that go? Forgiving and learning. Okay, at least we don't have forgiving and learning this week, guys. Finally, we've moved on from forgiving and learning and forgive your parents. At least we have that now. At least we're like back to like just us, like, you know, pour yourself a glass of wine. Okay, getting to know each other. You deserve love very soon and love yourself first. Let's qualify these. Let's get some little clarification with the Psychic Heart Tarot. This tarot is specifically about relationships. What do we need to know about getting to know each other? What's our card there? Give us a little bit more clarification on that. Okay. Lead. So we've got Emperor and we have giving and receiving. So we have the Emperor. This is sometimes in the healthy form of this energy, the Emperor is stable, solid, like their kingdom is healthy and thriving. They don't just have one kingdom, they have many kingdoms. So this is a very grounded, practical energy. This is a person who has control over the areas of their life. They're good at business. They're good at just, you know, taking care of it all. However, this person can also be controlling and maybe stubborn and hard-headed, or, you know, wanting to be a bit domineering, or having a temptation to be a bit domineering. So maybe, you know, getting to know yourself. Think about, where are you trying to, like, remember we were talking about being authentic? It's like, when are you using like these dating tactics because you think it's giving you control, right? Don't make this a battle over control. Don't make it a game about control. Don't make it control issues. Instead, show up with a secure attachment style, right? Work on those and be secure in yourself, right? And stable, and focus on, you know, building your life and stabilizing all the areas of your life and getting them all thriving and healthy. And then also, as you get to know another person, you kind of want to look for an Emperor type, as long as they're not controlling, domineering. Like, you don't want those dark shadow sides, right? But you want to get to know someone and see, like, how is your shit together? Like, how are your kingdoms in your life? How are your, you know, friendships and your family relationships? Like, do you have, you know, financial stability? Like, do you have terrible habits around that? You know, does this person have like some kind of substance abuse problem? You know, if you've never been with someone with a substance abuse problem, you may not understand how taxing that can be. So, you know, again, taking your time, getting to know someone, you know, are they a good communicator, right? Do they have relationship skills? This is not something that just comes out of the box. Like, you just get a good relationship. It doesn't happen. After the first 2 years of being in love, it's going to wear off. And if you don't have any relationship skills, then the next 2 years are going to be you deciding, do I want to break up with this person or not? I don't know. For 2 years, you're going to circle around, you know? So it's like, read some relationship books, get these skills, but make sure that they have them too as you get to know each other. And then also the Six of Pentacles came out. So when this comes out, it's in the best sense, it's someone who's equally reciprocating. This is something that is, you know, it's a requited attraction. This is someone who's giving equal investment, equal enthusiasm. They have an equal amount of skin in the game. They're making an equal effort. In the negative side, Six of Pentacles can be a breadcrumber, honestly. And sometimes, breadcrumbing can look really cute and it can be really flattering. And it can look like little, kind of like nice little touches here and there, but that never go anywhere. And it's like, okay, don't be distracted by shiny objects somebody's offering you. Like, what are they really stepping up? Do they have anything to give you? Or are they just going to be like, hey, wait, who all has had this text? Hey. You know it when you see it, when you read it, it's just like, hey. And it's like, hey. Like so into themselves. Like, I know, I've been a ghost, I've been a cat, I haven't been, any kind of value, but could you just, I don't know, think I'm cute and forgive me for it if I'm like, all right, I've been a little bit of a shit. And it's just like this one text that's like, hey. You're like, busy, new phone, don't care, same phone, don't care. I know this is, I'm not answering. Oh my God, okay. Hey. Never send hey ever again, please. Can we all promise? Put in the comments, who's gotten hey? Who's received hey? What are you immediately like, oh my God, throwing up in your mouth? Do you hear that same voice? Is it the same face that you see? The emoji that's like, side smirk, side eye smirk. Hey. Okay, deserve love. You deserve love. So 13, death. This is Major Arcana, death card. You deserve love. So this is major transformation in your love life. Overcoming old patterns, like anything in you, the low self-worth behavior, feeling undeserving, all of this has got to go in order for you to move forward and have a new experience. So yes, mourn that old self. There was this most hilarious meme that I saw today. It was like, this beautiful, hot, like saint girl in this like lovely, like, I don't know, ethereal looking like garb. And she's like standing over this like tombstone with this like angel that's like crying over a tombstone. And she was like, hotter me, mourning my old self. And it's just like this, like, it looks like this angel that's just like desperate and crying and just like sad, just a big saddo. And it's like, yeah, let that go. We're mourning that old self. We're moving forward now. We're emperor. We're emperor energy. We're making sure we're calling in emperor energy and that we deserve love. So death to the old patterns. Let's pull one more on that. What's one more card on we deserve love? It's going to be like Queen of Cups. Do we have anything else to say on you deserve love? You deserve love. Death! It's like, forgiving and learning. You deserve love. All right. Okay, here we go. Clarity of belief. So again, this is the Ace of Swords card. This is Eureka, clarity. I see it all so clearly now. I finally get it. The pieces are connecting. I see why this cycle has been perpetuating. I see why I've had to go through this lesson again and again and again. I'm finally starting to get it now. I have now new ideas and I can see past these old limiting beliefs that kept me cycling in, like patterns that were rooted from thoughts of undeservingness. Right? So finally getting clarity, finally being able to move past the behaviors that perpetuated that belief. So it's like you can believe something like unconsciously, you don't even realize it, but you're like, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve that person. That person's two together. They would never go for me. So then it's like unconsciously you're thinking this. And then you get into a situation with, say, a person with like red flags, right? Because you think that's more on your level. And so then their behavior is hurtful. And then it reinforces the unconscious belief that you're not aware that you have. And so then it starts building on that feeling of undeservingness. And then you're like, whoa, even if red flag person is acting this way, it must really mean that I don't deserve even them. wow, I got to go even lower. I've got to set my expectations lower, see how that does, right? And you don't even realize this isn't your conscious thoughts. You're probably out there going like, I'm great. Like, what the fuck is everybody else's problem? Like, why are I not, or like, why can't I meet someone who's this or that? And it's like, it's because of these unconscious things that just keep driving us and we're not even aware. And so just breathe. This is Four of Swords. This is take time out and heal. Heal this pattern, heal this belief, heal your sense of deservingness, meditate, pray. I love just like having a long bath with like a relationship book to read or a spirituality book. I just feel like doing that a couple of times a week does so much for my feelings of self-love and deservingness, because it's like, I'm doing this, it's healing, it's nurturing, it's building you up. You make an effort, for yourself to make it special. But then you're soothing your nervous system on top of that. And it's like you're rewriting your nervous system and you're healing that too. So take the time to heal. Okay, what do we need to know about very soon? Clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. It's like Two of Swords. We're like, no, we already know that. Clearly decide what we want so that it comes to us now. Do you have anything else to add to that, cards? Balance. So Temperance, and then what is this card? Oh my God. So we got Lovers and Temperance. So this is sort of like Two of Swords, but like on steroids. So clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. The Lovers card comes up. So this is very on the nose. It's like, you want this lover, choose them, decide that you want them so they can come in. Like, deciding with clarity what you want, what kind of relationship you want, what kind of qualities in that person are you wanting to call in. What are your like absolute must-haves? What are your non-negotiables? And what are your deal breakers? And the more clear you are on that, then the more clarity you can have, and you can be more decisive because you can identify something if it's in alignment with what you want in that authentic, way or not. So the Lovers also, like, at the root of it, it's not necessarily about lovers. It is in a way, but there's more to it. It's about coming to a turning point or like a crossroads in your life. There's a big decisions that have to be made, like major choices. And it's about really making those choices from the heart. It's about clearly deciding what you want so that it comes to you now. But not making those decisions based on shoulds, woulds, coulds, ought tos. This is logically making sense. Like, it is go into your heart of hearts. How do you really feel? What is the path? What feels in your heart expansive and fills you with joy and warmth and hope and love? And what makes you feel expanded? What makes you feel like you're going to have, like, it's uplifting and it's fulfilling? And if you look at the other option or the other choice, pay attention to what makes you feel sort of just like I can make myself do this, or like I'm resigning, or like it kind of makes me feel like I'm giving up, or I can, there's expectations on me, so I'll go this way. It's just like tune into the heart. When your heart sinks, when it feels contracted, when your chest starts feeling tight, when you feel like sick in your stomach, you're just like, like dread, like think about how something is making you feel at a core level. And then what is really like deeply, in alignment with you for real. Balance. The 14 card is Temperance usually. Let me double check to see if it is in this card also, because yes, it is. Okay. Sometimes they change these. up in this deck because they're, I don't know, they're unique. So, so temperance is about integrating. On the card temperance in the Rider-Waite, it's depicting Archangel Michael mixing these cups, and one of the feet of the angel is in the water and one is on the ground. And so the process of temperance is learning how to take these spiritual truths and start embodying them within our lives. It's also about being able to balance being a spiritual person and being a physically capable person in this world. But this is about balancing masculine and feminine energies and integrating the lessons that you've learned to, bring them into this next relationship or a future one or whatever. I'm going to read the temperance card. Keywords: renew, acknowledge, compromise, equality, harmony, and healing. Balance is important in all aspects of life, but it is especially important in relationships, both with others and yourself. This card suggests that you examine your relationships to see if they are truly in balance. A healthy relationship should include some time together as well as time to be apart. Take some time in peaceful solitude to renew your acquaintance with yourself. Okay, right there. Four of Swords and getting to know each other. It's like taking time to get to know yourself. Heal, do the healing work. Also, it's there's a balance between, having to give in a relationship. And when you're single, it's kind of nice because you don't have to share your energy with another person quite yet. And that's you can stagnate in that too. At a certain point as a single person, you can only heal things to a certain degree and grow things to a certain degree until they're tested up against someone else. And so it's there is work to be done when you're single, and there's work to be done in relationships. And so, right now, whether you're in a relationship or you're single, it feels like the energy of the week is to really go inward and do the work on the self. Acknowledge that you bring to the relationship, acknowledge what you bring to the relationship and what your partner brings to the relationship. Ensure that you both play an equal role and that no one person dominates. Remember, the Six of Pentacles is equal give and take. Compromise is required in order for a relationship to be harmonious. Be willing to give and receive. By finding the middle ground, you'll help to ensure that your needs and the needs of your partner are met. Compromise also includes accepting that people are individuals with different personalities and ways of looking at the world. Embrace your differences, rejoice in your similarities. If you find yourself at odds, be willing to work through issues honestly with love, confident that your differences can be resolved. This is an excellent time to help heal discordant relationships by bringing them into better balance. I just wanted to point out that it was talking about working through issues honestly with love. That is not put on a mask, hide your vulnerability, and keep the power at all costs. Not the same thing. This is an excellent time to help heal discordant relationships by bringing them into better balance. If you're seeking a romantic partner, balancing aspects of your own life will help open the way to new love. Also, making sure that your relationships with family and friends are in balance will set the tone for the new romance that is on its way to you. I embrace our differences and bring balance and healing to my relationships. Okay, and then love yourself first. I mean, there's not a lot of clarity we need about that, but see what the tarot has to say about it. Is anything to add? Oh my gosh, this is a 45-minute video. Again, I'm sorry. I'm going to try to make these shorter. What about loving ourselves first? This one. Ooh, joy and stability. I love this. 4 of Wands. The best. So what will come of loving yourself first if you want, like, so the Four of Wands is that card that depicts the two people under the hopa. And it's like it's like they've just come from the wedding. There's this like city in the background, and the Four of Wands is a card. It's known as the marriage card. It's about a moment of real prosperity and fulfillment and joy and stability. And it's like this, finding this level of like stability within passion and love and your determination and desire to go after something. Whether it be a relationship or not, it's like finding getting some success with something and finding harmony and stability in that. So yes, loving yourself first will result in that joyful, stable relationship that you're looking for. Without loving yourself first, you don't get this. You definitely do not get this. There's no guarantees if you will get this, but if you love yourself first, your odds are better that you're going to get this, or that you're going to have set yourself up for success to create, cultivate, and maintain this. You don't just get a stable relationship. It is created and maintained. Now, if you do not love yourself first, you are guaranteed to not get this. You will have chaos. You will have toxicity. You will have patterns. You will have struggles, right? So very soon, clearly decide what you want so it comes to you now. Clearly decide that you're loving yourself first, that you're healing, that you're getting to know yourself, and that you are so lovable and deserving that there's no rush. You have complete confidence and relaxation and peace to just take it slow and not let anybody rush you, not let anybody pressure you. If someone's really into you and they're love bombing you, it can be very tempting to just like gush and go all in and be flattered by, the attention. But again, take your time, because it doesn't always equal authentic offer, right? It's like love bombing is not something of substance. It's different from when someone is sincere, but love bombing can be one of those dating tactics that people use for control, to get what they want, to solicit a response. That's what I think I was trying to say. All right, I'm tired. I am sleepy. I'm hungry. I'm going to take a shower, eat, and then go to bed. But I will see y'all tomorrow. And as soon as I can get some coffee in me, get my day started, I don't know, at whatever point tomorrow, I will make my TikTok video, let y'all know about the energy of tomorrow. And then I will be back tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon for our weekend reading. But if you want to see it earlier in the day, usually midday, I post the written post on Instagram at Liz_Taylor_Magick, and you can get a head start, and then we'll talk about it later in the video in more depth. All right, y'all, be good, but not too good. Subscribe, like, share, comment. Please help me spread the word. Help me get in the algorithm. For God's sake, I've been doing this for 2 years every day. Can barely get ahead, but not anymore. We're going to get a big surge. I'm going to have a sudden burst of subscribers. I'm going to take off and we'll go viral. All right, y'all. Bye.